Danganya bunge ya kwamba ati alipelekwa akiwa uhai akakufa akiwa mikononi mwa daktari. CCTV imeonyesha alifika amekufa. Akaketi hapo 24 minutes wakingoja tu because he is already dead. So that DCI must be prosecuted. That DIG must be prosecuted. And this is just a tip of the iceberg. And we are appealing to the international community to step in Kenya. The level of impunity by William Ruto, he has compromised all oversight bodies. The opposition has been swallowed. Ile ya Raila. Parliament is compromised, with except to a few leaders there. So international community must come in through for the people of Kenya to tell William Ruto, no, this is impunity, it's unacceptable, you cannot continue. Nimekuja na huyu Pastor Docas, mnamjua? Niliona juzi hii watu ya Ruto wakilalamika ati kwa nini mimi natembea na yeye. Sasa wanataka kunipangia mpaka vile nitaka na bibi yangu.
Those are very damning allegations, and probably the president should come out and defend himself concerning the same. This as Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka refused Deputy President Kithure Kindiki's efforts, pressing him to join the Kenya Kwanza government, stressing that he will remain part of the opposition and on the front line in efforts to remove the government from power. Speaking during his visit to the Ukambani area, Kalonzo reiterated his stance, saying he should not be used as bait to attract the Ukambani region voting bloc. The Wiper leader stressed that he remained intentional to run for president in the 2027 general election and will partner with opposition leaders, including former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, to achieve a leadership change.
This thing, I have no problem with Kindiki. I have a problem with William Ruto, who has misled in terms of the leadership of this country. Na nilimuuliza Mheshimiwa Raila, kama sasa 2013 mimi na wewe na Eugene na Martha karibu tuwawe, mbona wakati hatukuenda kusema 2013? Because what they did kuniuliza mimi niwe co-chair na Kimani Ichung'wa kufanya mambo turekebisha angalau tuone vile uchaguzi ujao haitakuwa aina hii. Huku niambia wakati huo tufanye broad based. Sasa 2024, because Raila alisema aliona jamaa huyu Ruto karibu apeane serikali kwa majeshi, si angepeana 2023. So these are truths. Therefore, I will work with a truthful man called Gachagua. Wewe Kindiki, kwanza ungeomba msamaha because you are the minister for the interior when Gen Zs were killed. Tuanze hapo, tuwe waangwana kuomba msamaha na kusema tena Ojwang ameuawa, omba tena msamaha because wewe ni deputy president wa half term. Sinu after mwa one term. Ameteuliwa, hakuchaguliwa na wananchi. Kwa hivyo waache kutumia jina langu, wajue hata Ruto mwenyewe.
Well, that's you know, it's very interesting in Kenya. Politics, for some reason, for one reason or the other, seems to be the most important thing to the people. Every time you'll have the deputy president speak, Kalonzo Musyoka speak, and then you'll have maybe the former deputy Kalonzo Musyoka, then you'll have the deputy president, and probably the president will speak. And once those speak, then you have politics in the country, right? But remember, these are the guys who are messing up our country. You know what I'm saying? Like now, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has championed for President William Ruto's re-election in 2027, waving off critics' call for a one-term presidency. Kindiki was speaking while in Narok County at a church service where he slammed the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua for preaching divisive politics.
Na hatutaki vile nilianza kuchanganya maneno ya kanisa na mambo ya siasa. We don't want. Maendeleo sawa, lakini politics hii ya kubishana, ya kushindana, ya kufanya, we don't want those things in church. Mwenye anataka kupiga kelele aende pale kwa soko akapiganie kelele huko. Although also that is a useless way of doing politics. Ama namna gani? Watu wanatusumbua hapa, sijui nani ataserve term ngapi, sijui nani yako na term ngapi. Mambo ya kesho ni Mungu tu anajua jameni. Yeah, for now let us do what we must do. Kesho Mungu akiamua what God will allow, we will agree with the decision. Bana tisha hata na hujui mambo ya kesho, hata wewe hujui utakuwa wapi, au unatisha watu hapa kama wewe sijui ni nani. Si namna hiyo. Hata sijui nini. Sasa Mungu akisema William Ruto ataserve 10 years, utafanya nini? Utadu? Una kitu utafanya? Ama namna gani? Nilisikia wakisema hapa tu term, hapa tu nimesema tu term. Nikasema sasa hakuna mtu hata ametuma hao wanasema tu term. Si ni Mungu amewatuma jameni? Yeah, so watupatie break.
Na unajua uzuri, mimi naambia watu ukweli. Tunatoka kwa serikali tuende wapi? Where do you want us to go? Tukaombe hizi vitu wapi? Saa hizi kama ningekuwa naomba kama deputy president na yuko hapa, tuache mchezo. Tukae kwa serikali, tunyenyekee, tupige makofi vizuri, tufurahie wakubwa wetu na tuwaombee Mungu. Then hizi vitu tunaomba tunafanya nini? Lakini ukienda kusema huko vitu mnasema nasikia huko, si hapa kwangu muache. Sisi tuko chini because that is where everything is. Si ni kweli? Kwa hivyo hao watoto tunaomba tu wapatie dining hall.
Now, following speculation countrywide on the government spending on economic empowerment programs that have been conducted in recent days, President William Ruto has defended his plan, saying it is meant to uplift those at the bottom. The head of state said the program is not a random program being conducted, but that it has always been in the Kenya Kwanza manifesto. His sentiments come on the backdrop of critics questions being asked of the program where government leaders spend millions of shillings in the name of uplifting vulnerable groups.
Kwa makofi.
Inzi lazima akufe, lakini nategemea unakufa namna gani. Ile inzi iko na akili inakufia kwa maziwa. Ile inzi njinga inakufia kwa choo. Mimi siwezi kufia kwa choo, mimi nakufia kwa maziwa, Mheshimiwa Rais. Nikimalizia, mama mko hapa si ndio? Ukitengeneza chapati unawekanga upande moja ama unapindua? Nyeve chapati ita. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Rais amefanya upande moja 5 years, tupindue 5 years iwe chapati ambayo inaweza kukulika. Kweli au rongo? Hebu nione wale wanasema tutapatia Mheshimiwa Rais. Na tuko kwa kanisa tumeinua mkono, Mungu ametuona.
So this empowerment is not a facade temporary program. It is a program in our manifesto. How to lift those at the bottom of the pyramid through making sure that they are organized in cooperatives, they are organized in circles, they are empowered to do business, and that is why we have a whole plan on how we are going to lift those of us who are at the bottom of the pyramid so that they can join the rest in growing the economy of our country. And we are going to work on it, all of us.
And just to touch on some of the things that church leaders have been saying, and mostly so concerning the state of the country, like yesterday, some of them from various parts of the country called on President William Ruto to immediately stop the indiscriminate killings of youth allegedly being perpetrated by security officers. Speaking in Ugembo, Kisii County, the clergy expressed their worry and concern of a nation headed in the wrong direction if the extrajudicial killings are not stopped.
Nasimama kukemea mauaji yanayofanyika katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Mungu alipomuumba mwanadamu alifurahi sisi sote tuishi kwa amani. Hivyo damu inapomwagika haifurahii, na watu wetu tunapokuwa katika jamii, tunapolia, Mungu wetu anakasirika. Hivyo sisi sote tuishi kwa amani na Mungu aweze kutusaidia.
Mimi kama kiongozi wa kanisa ninaombea nchi yetu ya Kenya, ninaombea serikali, ninaombea na wale wako upinzani, tuje sisi wote pamoja, maana sisi ni wa Kenya, tupendane, tuchenge nchi yetu mpaka wakati ikifika wa kura ndio mambo ingine na uchaguzi ianze.
Tungependa kumuomba Rais wetu mpendwa William Ruto Samoei kulete amani katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Tulimchagua awe kiongozi wetu, aweze kutulinda kuanzia kwa mtoto mpaka kwa mkubwa, kabila zote za Kenya tuwe kitu kimoja na watu wa tabaka mbalimbali ili tukaweze kuishi pamoja katika nchi hii. Kwa hivyo tunaomba ya kwamba tusaidie tuwe na amani, aweze kushirikiana na vitengo vingine vyote ili tuweze kuwa na amani. Aweze kuongea hata na wale wanasiasa wengine ili Kenya tukue na amani, ili tuweze kuishi maisha mazuri ambayo yatakuza kanisa na maadili mema.
All right, let's take a look at what the papers, the dailies are saying today. We have the Star newspaper. It says it's bold, it's fresh, independent, and different. Let's see how different it is. It has a very interesting headline: Debt crisis, wastage dominate CS Mbadi shilling 4 trillion budget talk. And the interesting thing is that 1.1 trillion of the 2025-2026 budget will go to pay loans. You remember our budget is 4.25, so that simply means that 1.1 trillion goes to deal with the loans. Then you have a picture of President William Ruto engaging Western voters. You have Chavenya, he's giving out a bus to one of the churches there. Then on the other side you have Safaricom share surges to near 3-year high. Then OCS Talam to get additional security while in police cell. You know, this thing, Akitalam, he was thrown under the bus. Point is just thrown under the bus. Police chiefs ordered extra security to be accorded. Leona Shrab kam Luya by the accorded on Nairobi Central Officer Commanding Station. Samson Talam over fears he could be harmed while in custody over the death of Albert Ojwang. Man on a mission, a guy called Rugo, to empower Kenyans on budgets. Then the back page of the Star, you have teenage cheating athletes nabbed in World Athletics probe. This is Korir who says, Athletics Kenya Youth Development Chairman. His full name is Barnaba Korir. And then you have historical fit coach Ndaira Gije over the moon as Kenya Police win first Kenya Premier League title. If they've played very well, why not? And it looks like they did. Then the Standard newspaper, today the Nation we'll look at the Nation last because of the headline. And then the Standard says, shameless top cops. Shameless top cops. And then you have all the pictures of the top cops. the Inspector General Douglas Kanja, Eliud Lagat, Deputy Inspector General, Mohammed Amin, the DCI boss, and Mushiri Nyaga, Police Service spokesperson. All of them are shameless, according to the Standard, and it quotes saying, ongoing investigation into what is increasingly appearing to be the deliberate killing of a teacher and influencer, Albert Ojwang, are exposing lies by Inspector General Police Douglas Kanja, DCI boss Mohammed Amin, and police spokesman Mushiri Nyaga. This comes even as Kenyans pile pressure on DIG Eliud Lagat to resign. This guy should resign, by the way. What has come out, if you make a complaint against a person and then the person is taken by officers who are under you and then he dies, it is only common sense for you to step aside so that investigations can be done. And you know the unfortunate thing, all the top cops have basically shown that they support the deputy IG, even before the investigations are done. So do you really expect investigations to be fair? This is just a question. I'm not saying he did it, but I'm just saying common sense would say if you step aside, let investigations be done, and once they are done, if you're innocent, you come in. If you're not, you hit the slummers. Then Gen Z revolt 1 year later, church returning to its familiar territory. June 2024 remains a defining moment for the church in Kenya after Gen Z protesters threatened to occupy pulpits to correct the bad habit of hobnobbing with the political class at the expense of their flocks, but many church leaders have slowly slipped into their old ways. Security budget balloons while justice starves and protesters bleed. Have you noticed that CS Mbadi has added weight? From the time he became the CS, ako kakichwa kamekuwa round. Nakaa nakula na kijiko mzuri. Hidden knife of the finance bill that stabs farms. Energy Ministry unveiled plans to build nuclear power plant in Siaya County. Nuclear plant. A year after youth revolt, churches caught politicians with deep pocket. Kenya's Gen Z awakening turns frustration into fierce resistance. And these guys, our leaders need to really watch out. I think they've assumed that Gen Zs cannot do whatever they did again. And so I know right now quite a number of young people, quite a number of people are going through the finance bill with a toothpick to ensure that they see exactly what could be hidden in there. Then Ojwang murder case tests IPOA's integrity. That actually a lot. Ojwang's death points to pattern of police brutality and cover-up. Then the back page. At last, Kenya police march into league glory. All right. I only hoped that the Kenya police reputation when it comes to doing what they are supposed to do can be as good as their reputation when it comes to football, because when it comes to football, they are really doing good. But when it comes to the job they are supposed to do, the Standard says, shameless top cops. The Nation. Hey. Aki Ruto's regime, some of the things that have been done during this period, it's just 3 years. Now, weapons. This is an expose that was done by NTV. Amazing. And it just, it's being caught, you're being caught with your hand in the cookie jar. Kenyan weapons have been found in Sudan. obviously on the side of RSF. And they are packed, they just package with a full name, name of the product, it's there, the batch, and then it's stamped, it's coming from Kenya. A 6-month nation investigation exposes Kenyan branded ammunition in Sudan, pointed to Kenya's involvement in the war by possibly arming the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. This turns the spotlight once again on President Ruto's dalliance with RSF leader Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, alias Hemedi, close ties that have upset the Khartoum junta. Now, remember this, there are so many people being killed in Sudan. So many people. And unfortunately, we are playing a part in it, because if the government is sending the weapons there, then you and I are parties to it. We are playing a part in the killing of quite a number of people in Sudan as RSF engages the junta in Khartoum. There's quite a number of evidence of the kind of weapons that are being taken to Sudan. Now, $1 million question. Do we produce these weapons, or are we buying these weapons and sending them to Sudan? We have a bullet factory, I think, in Eldoret. At least if it's bullets, I would know we produce bullets. I'm seeing mortars, and I don't know whether we produce mortars. So $1 million question, who's funding the purchase of these weapons before they are taken to Sudan? Is it the RSF? Is it the gold industry? So many questions. I wish the government, we don't want the government spokesman or the police spokesman to tell us anything, because most of the time when they speak, they don't tell us the truth. We want the truth. This is sad. And then system glitches, slow pace of grade 9 pathway selection. Hey. Pending 150 billion functions will shift to counties by July 2026. The question is, will the 150 billion shillings be transferred to the counties? Because if the functions are transferred to the counties, then there's need for funding to ensure that is done. Petitioners moved to block IEBC team of a court order. This IEBC team is really going to find itself in a lot of situations. It's Paul Mwite, senior counsel, who's at the Milimani, who went to the Milimani court to do this. Legal team says it may also sue the Attorney General and the National Assembly Speaker. All right? The back page, the rise and rise of Golden Girl Chebet. Hey, this girl, lucky. Whatever she touches turns to gold. Hata sitongea mengi. Now we're going to have, in a couple of minutes, we'll have two gentlemen where we'll be talking about what's happening in our country, the political state in our country. Gentlemen, you listened to Edwin Sifuna, and yesterday, the day before, I think yesterday, was saying that the partnership between the government and ODM, the broad-based government, the agreement they entered into is as good as dead, because one of the conditions was stop killing the young people, and the young people are still dying. Remember this week, next week, I think it will be the anniversary of the Gen Z protest. What is going to happen? Let's see. Okay, let's go for a short break, and we get our guests in the studio.